So, what exactly is humanity going to look like in 2050? It's a massive, high-stakes question, isn't it? Well, let's dive into this. We are currently standing at a totally unprecedented juncture in human history. You see, the future isn't just some distant, predetermined destination that we're passively rolling towards. It's actually a really complex, interconnected web of choices that we are making right now, today.
Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're taking a super dense, truly fascinating academic analysis by Dr. Afisavaj Srivaddhanawadavatra, and we're distilling it down to its absolute core essentials. We are going to explore the powerful forces, these global megatrends that are actively reshaping our world, redefining our societies, and ultimately dictating the entire future of humanity. All right, here's our roadmap for today. We'll be looking at humanity at a crossroads, the rise of smart machines, climate change and sustainability, reimagining work and education, expanding into space, and finally, two futures, utopia or dystopia. Let's get into it.
Section 1, Humanity at a Crossroads.
The source material pulls some really interesting findings from the Global Outlook on Loneliness 2023, and it shows us how rapid social changes and technological shifts are pulling us toward a critical turning point where we have to take action to maintain our social cohesion. But what exactly is a megatrend? By definition, megatrends are very powerful, pervasive, continuous, macro-level forces that impact the future over decades. So we aren't just talking about fleeting fads or temporary viral moments here. These are massive, underlying shifts that often operate completely separate from our conscious, day-to-day agendas. They're literally the undercurrents of our civilization.
To really wrap our heads around the sheer stakes of our current global expansion, consider this number. 4.3 billion. Over just the last half-century alone, the human population has surged by 4.3 billion people. That is wild. That unprecedented growth has brought us incredible triumphs in life expectancy and education for sure, but it also rapidly accelerates our resource consumption, demanding an entirely new way of living on this planet.
Moving right along to Section 2, the rise of smart machines. We're shifting gears here to look at how artificial intelligence and automation are fundamentally evolving. They're going from simple background tools into fully autonomous, on-the-ground decision makers. The source notes a profound shift. We're going to see machines deciphering fluid situations, independently and on location. But what does that actually mean for your daily life? Well, think about massive supply chains in the Internet of Things. Soon, AI will be able to autonomously read temperature-sensitive vaccines while they're in transit, figure out within seconds if they need special treatment, and instantaneously reroute sick railways or adjust transport conditions. And get this, it'll do all of that without a single human input.
And when you look at how these highly specific technologies converge, it's a real game changer. We're looking at a near future where 3D printing with biomasses will steadily lipid ink new, personalized drug compositions targeting your individual cells. Imagine needing sensitive, orally coded medications and just printing them right at home on a growable nutrient base. No way, right? Or, on a macro level, imagine 3D sand etching constructing public infrastructures right on location. It's a fundamental pivot from shipping physical, heavy goods to shipping information at near light speed with basically zero costs.
Okay, Section 3, Climate Change and Sustainability.
With this dramatic increase in global capabilities, our current extraction-heavy model of economic development is simply no longer compatible with the Earth's physical constraints. We're hitting a wall. The absolutely crucial point here is how we pivot without totally collapsing our economies. The research cleanly separates the interconnected solutions we need. Step 1, advance sustainable green growth, which means prioritizing eco-friendly urban planning and renewable energy. Step 2, facilitate green training and know-how transfer, making sure local artisans and workers aren't just left behind. And Step 3, mobilize green financing for local partnerships. The whole goal here is to bust the myth that pursuing sustainability has to cause economic stagnation. Actually, scratch that. It's the exact opposite. It can open up completely fresh markets and foster new wealth generation.
Now, a $9.5 billion underwater cargo submarine robbery? I know, it sounds exactly like a Hollywood blockbuster. But the author uses this really striking image to illustrate a very real pressing problem, the extreme complexities and vulnerabilities of our growing global shipping networks. Between climate change, tangling up old transit routes, crazy international trade complexities, and the looming threat of piracy or terrorism, our planetary systems of operation are incredibly fragile right now. They're going to require immense global cooperation to secure.
Which brings us to Section 4, Reimagining Work and Education.
I want you to take a second and really ask yourself, how do you think your own job is going to evolve in this emerging talent era? Because as these global systems shift, our daily routines and our professional lives are going to look very, very different. The pressure on the job market is mounting fast. The world's population was 7.7 billion in 2020. It's projected to hit 8.5 billion by 2030 and up to a staggering 9.7 billion by 2050. This massive expansion of the workforce, combined with smart machines taking over routine tasks, completely alters how we have to approach employment, hiring, and even remote telecommuting.
So, what's the necessary solution to all that population and technology pressure? It's lifelong learning, an ongoing, voluntary, and self-motivated pursuit of knowledge. Basically, education can no longer just end the day you get a diploma. To survive this rapid technological disruption, the research stresses that we need a continuous maturity and skills framework. You have to constantly adapt, upskill, and engage with online platforms, because guess what? The machines and the economic systems around you certainly will be.
All right, let's look up. Section 5, Expanding into Space.
This takes us to our most expansive frontier yet. We're exploring what the source considers the single greatest challenge for humanity in the next century: the incredible scientific challenges of space exploration and potential colonization. The source details some highly concrete scientific targets that go way beyond science fiction. We're looking at the 2030s for landing missions aiming to reach the subsurface oceans of Jupiter's moon, Europa, to hunt for organic signatures and extraterrestrial life. How cool is that? Scientists have also pinpointed significant hydrogen deposits sitting at the bottom of the moon's polar dark craters, and radar backscatter showing frozen water deposits right under the crust of Mars. These are the specific spots where humanity is actively looking to establish transitional settlements. But the paper also raises a really tough question. Does our Earth-centric view give us the right to wholesale terraform and potentially destroy the original environments of these other worlds? It's a lot to think about.
And finally, Section 6. Two futures, utopia or dystopia. This is where all these interconnected megatrends, the population booms, AI, the climate, space, where they all converge, forcing humanity into what is essentially the ultimate choose-your-own adventure. But before we look at the dark possibilities, consider this number: 1.6 billion. That is the number of people who have been lifted out of extreme poverty over the past half-century. It's a massive, historic triumph. And it's vital to remember this fact because it proves that a positive, coordinated, and upward trajectory for humanity is entirely possible when we actually apply our resources correctly.
But the divergence of our current path is incredibly stark. Under the optimistic projections, we adapt. We achieve green growth, transnational democratization, and mindful economies. We'd see the equitable flourishing of society and peaceful coexistence. But right next to it, staring us in the face, are the pessimistic projections: the rise of digital dictatorships, brutal resource wars fueled by climate migration, and extreme wealth inequality exacerbated by the maldistribution of the AI dividend. It places the ideal of global solidarity right next to the very real threat of geopolitical collapse.
The crucial takeaway here is found in this final thought from the text. Most narratives about the future are dominated by either heart-wrenching pessimism or inflated optimism based on past-oriented inertia. Basically, our future isn't predetermined by blind momentum or wishful thinking. Avoiding the dystopia and actually reaching that utopia requires active, transdisciplinary choices and serious global cooperation right now.
Which brings us to our final and definitely our most important question. Which future are we building? You've seen the data, the massive demographic shifts, the heavy environmental stakes, and the incredible technologies on the horizon. The decisions that we make today, in our communities, in our workplaces, and in our governments, are actively writing the code for humanity's next chapter. So think about your role in that equation. How will your choices shape the megatrends of tomorrow? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and remember to keep questioning the world around you.